Well, even though summer is still in full swing, it's never too early to get back in the classroom. The Manitoba Museum is making it fun to learn with a new online resource called Anishinaabemowin with Amik, a literacy game meant to support those trying to learn the Anishinaabemowin language. Tashina Houle-Gaywish is the head of Indigenous programming and engagement with the Manitoba Museum and one of the people who developed Anishinaabemowin with Amik. She joins us now to tell us more about it. Good morning, Tashina.
Good morning.
First of all, where did the idea for an online game like this come from?
Um, well, I've always been a learner of Anishinaabemowin myself, and so I wanted to bring that to my work. And at the museum, we've always tried to incorporate Indigenous languages into our museum galleries and exhibits. Um, and so we wanted to take it a step further and have it on our website as well.
Fantastic. So maybe you can break this down for us. Who is Amik and what is his or their journey in this game?
Sure. So Amik is kind of the creative force behind the game. Amik is beaver in Anishinaabemowin, and is kind of seen as like um, a leader in Anishinaabe beliefs, a leader of wisdom, of community building, and uplifting others, and just constantly seeking out new ways to learn different things. So we thought that he'd be perfect, or the beaver would be perfect for this game.
I can only imagine. So, I mean, maybe even the more obvious question, why? So why the beaver then? Like, what does that add to this experience of learning the language as you go along?
Yeah. So the first, I guess, round of this game, because we're going to expand to other words and phrases, is focused on animals that are found throughout our galleries.
Hmm.
So there's 21 animals, and so starting with a mick as that featured animal, we thought would be perfect.
As people learn Anishinaabemowin through this game, what do you think that, or what maybe do you even hope that people take away from playing this game, experiencing this way of learning that maybe they wouldn't if they were learning Anishinaabemowin in a more stereotypical sort of language learning sort of a module?
Yeah, we hope that it's more accessible for folks, especially it being on our website. There's no app that you have to download. Um, and learning animals are like the most basic things that you can learn when you're
Hmm.
starting a language. Um, so yeah, and I think it's a good way to connect folks with the museum, and maybe next time a school group comes to visit, they'll already have learned some of these animals, and they'll be able to point out like the bison and say, "Oh, that's Mushkade. Yeah.
So you mentioned that learning animals is just the first part of learning
Mhm.
Anishinaabemowin with a Mick. What are some of the other sort of elements in learning this language that you hope become a part of this game, this literacy tool in the coming months?
Yeah. So we hope to expand on this, like maybe in a year or two, and expand into maybe other Indigenous languages that represent Manitoba. And then important phrases like "Hello, how are you?" You know, those core elements to language learning.
You mentioned at the start of this interview, Tashina, that you yourself have been on a journey of learning Anishinaabe What do you think a resource like this, a game like this, would have meant to you as you were taking those first steps in learning this language?
I would have been so thrilled that my provincial museum was coming out with something like this, and representing my people like this. I remember as a kid, I would learn the language with my mom through like those cassette tapes. And we'd just go for drives and she'd pop in the cassette and we'd learn that way. So to have it on a website, super accessible, is just amazing. And I hope that it's helpful for other learners.
What has been the reaction to Anishinaabemowin with Amik so far? And maybe what kinds of feedback have you been receiving from people about other things that you might add into future versions of the game, and future ways in which to make Anishinaabemowin an easily accessible and an easily understood sort of a language for everyone as they jump into learning it?
Yeah, so far it's been, we've had a pretty positive response to the game. People are excited to see that the museum is hosting this type of learning game on their website. Um, and I know that some have been asking for phrases and other words in the language, and then also other Indigenous languages as well. But that's all dependent on whether we get funding and how many people we have working on this. So this is just a start, and something that we really hope to expand on in the future.
We will link to Anishinaabemowin with Amik at our website, classic107.com, and on the Classic 107 app. Tashina Houle-Gaywish, the head of Indigenous Programming and Engagement with the Manitoba Museum. It's been such a joy hearing more about this literacy game. Thank you so much for joining us here to tell us more about it.
Thank you for having me.